as a journalist, I come from the background where you are told or you are taught that facts are sacred. You cover news, you report issues exactly the way they are. You are not allowed to bring in your own views, and then you write objectively. But the advent of the internet has been both good and bad. It has been extremely beneficial because it has provided information on the go, rather than wait till the second day when you report news as it used to be. Now you can do it by the minute on the go. But it has a lot of disadvantages because people are now taking advantage of that leverage to put fake stuff out there. Now, with regard to the Independent National Electoral Commission, we had to deal with a lot of that during the 2019 general elections. Now, as you know, politics in Nigeria is highly charged. People are extremely emotional. We still have the problem of divisions along ethnic and religious lines. And you also have commercial public relations strategists who are there to do anything they are paid to do to put mud on anybody. Now, what we find ourselves in the situation is that we are constantly trying to put the correct narrative out there while we have a group of people who we are paid to ensure that what we put out there is not heard by people, or they put counter information that will rubbish us. And I'll give you examples. There was a time, for instance, when the chairman of the commission talked about the creation of polling units. Now, we have 120,000 polling units across the country and about 56,000 voting points. Now, the fake news merchants said that we were preparing to create new polling units in Niger Republic, right, which is a country outside Nigeria, whereas it's not true. What we said was that we were going to make it possible for people in the settlements. You know, we have these internally displaced persons in areas where we have conflict, this Boko Haram, the northeast and northwest, all these bandits, that people who were forced to flee their homes and in all these camps will make it possible for them to vote. But somehow, some people twisted the story to say that we are trying to create polling units outside the country. And then we had to deny. And then they also had the issue of releasing results before the official election results were released. Shortly after the election, you had some people releasing state-by-state results, which of course was not true. Yes, we had the provision in place where we declare results at the polling units, but you are not allowed to announce the entire official result. It's only the commission that is able to do that. But you now have people saying that one particular party had won in a particular state or has lost in a particular state, and then they are putting out what is not true. They were accusing our officials of changing figures in some states, and that brought about some sort of violent reaction. In fact, there was one state in the southwest where one of our staff was actually beaten up because of these fake news that circulated on social media, that particular staff had attempted to change the figures of the vote of a particular political party. Quite a number of them, and we are grateful that the European Center for Electoral Support has actually assisted us in organizing workshops and putting some measures in place to do that. The first thing is you make information available proactively, and the Commission has been doing that. Since this Commission came on board, they hold meetings every Thursday, and after the meeting, they announce the decisions taken. And then we are very active on the social media. We are active on Twitter, we are active on Facebook, every activity we are engaging, we release the information. And then we have this synergy with the media, traditional media. But the problem is that you have this online publisher who are scattered across the landscape, who don't report to anybody, and there is no law governing them, and they have a motive. And then we try to engage in media literacy. We tell our colleagues, and we try to tell Nigerians that when you receive information, you must find a way of verifying information by yourself by going to a source. The source is our website or our Twitter page or our Facebook page, and then we have phone numbers that you can call. And people were doing that. Or when people noticed an unusual thing happening, they call us. But you still have other people who are so emotional that when they see something, they don't question, they just believe. And I think really that even though I'm a journalist and I don't want censorship of any kind, I think it is high time Nigeria took some form of action against the merchants of fake news. We can't continue to have anybody put any form of information out there. Yes, I've heard it said in many places that how many of them will you arrest? But I think that we should make some attempts, because a situation where somebody puts fake news out there and it causes a wide conflict where many people lose their lives, for instance, is unacceptable. Absolutely, absolutely. I said earlier that we have a lot of emotional reaction to politics in Nigeria. And one thing that is very common in this country, in our country, is that politicians have still not developed the spirit of sportsmanship. And then the trust deficit is also there, where you find it difficult to trust the electoral management body. I mean, when you win election, then INEC is the best. But when you lose election, then INEC is the worst. That means INEC has rigged the election, or INEC has done something wrong. But that is not the thing. So if we, first of all, can develop that spirit of sportsmanship, that's fine. But after the 2019 general election, you know, we had two big players, and they had their supporters. Now, one of the big players that lost went to town with a lot of fake news. They accused us of rigging the election. They accused us of helping the party that won. They supplied wrong information. They supplied wrong figures. They make all manner of allusions. First, they went to court, and when you go to court, you don't canvass for what is already in court. But they went to court. We are in court, even as I speak, but they are still holding press conferences over the outcome of the election. That is wrong. So that's part of the problem that we face, and we've had to react proactively sometimes to ensure that people get the correct information. One thing is the bottom line. The moment politicians develop the spirit of sportsmanship, when they know that if they go into a contest, it is possible for them to either win or lose, they will have less problem in Nigeria.